One.
Ephraim Smiley here, the urban farmer, that urban farmer from Northeast Indiana, and I'm working on planting my seeds indoors. And so I'm going to show you what I did. I went out to the garden and I noticed that I had some tomatillos that were still intact. So I took the tomatillos and then I took the seed cluster out of the tomatillos and dried them. I dried those seeds and then I placed them in this bag. So you can see I've got like hundreds of tomatillo seeds, and then I planted them. I planted them in this container right here, and these are all tomatillos, and they're growing pretty good. But what I'm going to do, I know I'm a little early on my start, so I'm going to take these and transplant them into a larger container. This year, my goal is to have my plants have a larger root system when I transplant them in the garden. So I'm going to use a larger container to put them in. And so they should do pretty good. I've noticed that when you transplant them, they seem to have a little shock at first, and then they really take off after you transplant them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these all the way down in my container. I'm going to bury the stem all the way down in their new container. Also, I'm going to take, some of them have like 3 plants in them. I'm going to take those apart, separate them, and put them in their own individual container. I've noticed that if I don't do that, these tomatillos will get they'll kind of grow together and makes it difficult to plant them, and it's just not cool. So what I've got here, I've got a list, or at least I've got containers of vegetable seeds, and basically the peppers you plant 6 to 8 weeks before May 21st in northern Indiana. You plant those with seed inside your house if you're trying to grow them with from seed. You do the same thing with tomatoes, and you do about 6 weeks with broccoli, collards, or something like that, and then 4 weeks with cucumbers, and then 3 weeks with watermelon. Now, on the cucumbers and the watermelon, I don't like to see the plant put out runners. I don't like to see the plant start running. So that's why I might plant those with just 3 weeks before May 21st. But what I'll get a young plant, might have less transplant shock, and might do better being a young plant. So that's my rundown on what you plant indoors. And I'll show you how I planted the tomatillo seeds. I'll just give you an example. I took a popsicle stick or something. On this pin works great. And then I took a couple of seeds. I always like to plant 2 just in case they don't germinate well. And so I put about 3 or 4 in there. But at any rate, I'll take my pin and I'll come back and I'll cover them up. And then I'll put them in my south-facing window, and I've got some plastic over that window, so it's really worked real good on the warm days with a lot of sun. Well, I should say the mild days in February here. The temperatures outside were in the 40s, and the temperature in this room was in the high 60s. That's without heat. So it's germinating. It's giving my tomatillo seeds enough heat to germinate. And so that's how we're rolling. I'll put them in the sun. Then if they start growing toward the sun, I'll turn the container. And you know what? It doesn't hurt to shake them a little bit. That helps them to have a sturdier stem. So that's Ephraim Smiley coming at you from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the hunger relief farmer. And remember, organic gardening is aiding and abetting Earth's beneficial allies with keen observation and eco-friendly deterrence of the usual suspects. Thank you now.